meeting of the West Mifflin Area School District on Thursday, August 8th, 2019. The West Mifflin Area School District special meeting is held in the West Mifflin Borough Building Council Chambers, 1020 Lebanon Road, West Mifflin, PA 15122. Meeting to begin at 7:13. Opening exercises, please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Aaron. Here. Alexandrov. Here. Anzelic. Gladden. Kovak. Here. Marshall. Here. White.
Here.
Stelnick.
Here.
DeSenza.
Here. Special meeting notice.
The Board of Directors of the West Mifflin Area School District will hold a special meeting in the council chambers of the West Mifflin Borough Building, 1020 Lebanon Road, West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, 15122, on Thursday, August 8, 2019, at 7:00 p.m. prevailing time. The purpose of the meeting is for personnel issues and any other business that comes before the board.
Thank you, Mr. Smore. Hearing the citizens, public comment. In order to speak at this time, the following must be met: must be a West Mifflin, Whitaker, or Duquesne resident. Matter must have been discussed through the proper education channels. Direct comments to the board president and/or superintendent. Remarks limited to 3 minutes per person. Lisa Novosel.
Hello. All I'm here is for 30 seconds.
I just need your name and address for the record, please.
Lisa Novosel, 4808 Riley Drive West.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to submit the original copy of the bylaws of the West Mifflin Area High School Football Booster Club, AKA Titanford Boosters, signed by the officers of the Titanford Boosters, along with a copy of the minutes of the previous 2 meetings, attendance sheets, the district bylaws which govern the boosters, and pertinent articles from the PIAA bylaws, which state the same. That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Vanessa.
Diane Stanesik, 2803 Glenny Lane Extension.
Hey, Diane, use the mic, please.
I can't believe we can't hear you. Is that better?
That's
No.
next time.
It takes a second to click on that.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, under Board of Directors, item A2, we already have change orders with an increase on the scoreboard. Is there an issue or something that's causing this?
No, it's really not an issue. It was just being able to get power out in the best way possible with the scoreboard. We had an option of really trenching and running the 3-inch conduit and the heavier gauge wire out to the scoreboard, and or pulling wire through our existing conduit, which we weren't sure at the time when this bid came through whether or not it was going to be functional or not. And since it was functional, we were able to run smaller wire out and use those dog boxes, what they're calling it, which is basically the power plant for the scoreboard and sound system now.
Okay, I have read about the Booster Club money, and that's a parent fundraising organization. And I don't think anybody but them, under the rules, from what I could see on the website, should be doing anything with that money. It was brought out that new uniforms wanted to be purchased by the coach. Well, we bought them 2 years ago. Deal with it, buddy. We're not Upper St. Clair, Fox Chapel, or any of them. We have sufficient uniforms for the kids. He needs to deal with it and abide by the rules regarding that money. Any booster money that's raised by parents is under the control of their board.
Can I interrupt for 1 second? I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize, but Mr. smart. In the organizational flow of the booster organization, isn't the head coach at the top of that according to the policy we have? I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize.
I don't have it in front of me either, but the head coach certainly has a role to be played in all booster organizations.
And I could be mistaken, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that Mr. Steele raised that money. That's a support.
It was a portion of the money.
Yeah.
Policy 919, that if you look at theoretically, the school district oversees all the social organizations.
Right.
So, yes, again, it was just, I really don't want to get into too much detail because I don't want to, offend anybody. But I believe what we did is we had to take action in the best interest of all those involved and try to make it the best we could.
And didn't the girls' basketball boosters purchase new uniforms for themselves last year?
I think the baseball team 6 or 7 years ago raised money.
Softball.
Again, the organization is supposed to work in coordination with myself, the assistant superintendent, the high school administration, and head coach. That's the idea.
Okay, I had submitted a right to know to Dennis for a couple things, one of which I wasn't unfortunately at the June meeting where you were named acting superintendent. Mr. Solomon was named, I believe, acting assistant superintendent or assistant superintendent. So I asked for his credentials, and what I got was a copy apparently of his teaching certificate, which is not his credentials that I requested. I would like to know, educational-wise, what are his qualifications? Does he have a bachelor's degree? Does he have a master's degree? Does he have principal papers? Does he have superintendent papers? Is he working on his PhD? I mean, those are characters that a superintendent should have. And unfortunately, Dr. Sable has the PhD, as does others. And, I didn't see no job posting out there for a assistant superintendent. I didn't see anything, I don't know where you guys are posting a lot of stuff if you're using the Valley Mirror, or which comes out once a week, which is like not really appropriate. I think that this district is taking very many steps backwards instead of forward. And it seems like, to me, friends of friends, down the line, they're all getting hired. You closed Emerson, there's money missing from there, $15,000 from what I understand. Nothing was done. Somebody steals money and nothing is done. But you all can crucify me on topics now that it's not there anymore. And yes, Krisha, that's what it is. And apparently it was sidelined, and where did that money go? It should go back to the parents' organization that raised that money. And I still firmly believe that closing Emerson was the worst thing this district could have done.
Thank you. Tom Novosel? Tom here?
His wife came and did that.
Okay, they both signed up. Mark Uhas?
Mark Uhas, 1016 Dana Drive. I'm just comparing this to give you a little bit of an update with that, where we're at with the All Sports Booster, Community Booster Club. Basically, it's starting to really now come together. We already, I guess, submitting the paperwork into the state for a 501c3. As we know, this is a group that's going to help every athletic program in our school district. It's going to help raise the money, so it take the burden off on some things, the burden off the board and off of the taxpayers. We've done a lot of work with the community on this so far, and speaking with a lot of business owners. and we have a lot of folks on board there. So we're having our first fundraiser September 28th at the Homeville Volunteer Fire Department at a big money bash. It was to raise money to help spread out to some of the youth, the athletic organizations, because there's a lot of athletic groups or athletic teams in our school district that just don't have the support, from parents or financially. And so this is trying to help them as far as also when it comes to uniforms or equipment and stuff like that they might need. So that part of it is really now starting to take shape, and we're starting to move forward with it. But spent a lot of time talking with a lot of the business owners in the district, and very supportive of it. Also, up in school, meeting with the AV club, because of the new school board, what it's going to do is help with some of these businesses with the scoreboards. The AV club help develop commercials for some of the small mom and pop, like pizza shops and stuff like that, and stores, that they can run like a 15-second ad between timeouts and that in a football game and basketball. So it's going to kind of also help bring a little bit more community awareness. Also on the scoreboard is help generate about $30,000 a year. We got to sit down with the solicitor and start doing some contracting with some of the corporate businesses. Where that scoreboard will start bringing in at least a minimum of $30,000 a year because of the advertisement can go on it. We already have quite a few commitments from a couple of the big corporations in the area. Don't want to set our names yet until everything's finalized. But it's also a nice educational thing with those, because the fact with the AV club and everything else to help develop different type of commercials and do different things to interact with the community and students from that perspective. And so I just want to kind of give you an update on that, because we know we've been working on this now for about a year. So anybody have any questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Who takes care of the money for this group?
Well, it's going to be a booster group. Okay, there's going to be 7 board of directors on it. Then there's a treasurer. It's, we talk back and forth on it. I know that what's going to happen with this, because of how we're working it, as I know we committed this, am I right, Mr. Sendo and Mr. Smart, is they committed to doing the school's going to do the audit with it, because we get 501c3. So there's going to be somewhere where our business manager is going to be a part of it. Matter of fact, we're going to make one of the business managers a proprietor of it. And basically, so the money that comes in, they're going to have the audit for it, so make sure everything's on the up and up with it. That's probably our biggest sticking point, I have to say, in the past probably 6 months, on how we were going to have this funded and work.
Danny, you said just in general, every booster organization has to submit audited financials that the district acts for them under 919.
That's what the policy says.
So it's nothing different than.
But it's a 501c3.
Yeah, what there's the template established is a separate entity outside of the school district that their money would be theirs. And they're going to fortunately approach the school with, with the funds they raise and try to supplement what we already provide for our students.
And part of the money too is that we raise from it. We're looking at the raise as much as we can, but also to put money into another school starting like a capital projects fund. So they have some money to go in there to help towards the facility and stuff like that. Any upgrades?
Are you bonded?
Are we bonded? No.
That's about, then we require to be bonded, you have certain insurances. You'll submit to us when the time comes of all your bylaws that lay out how that is going to work, how your financials are going to work before that's approved, right?
Yes, but we already submitted some bylaws and everything else towards this already.
Would we have to recognize them? Would we have to take some action to recognize them as
Not if they're a separate entity, not under the.
Yeah, and really what this is really for is because we.
Yes, if I may.
Yes. Go ahead.
Gary Mata, one of the solicitors, I was just here for executive session. I was just staying to listen to part of the meeting. I had volunteered our office to take care of all the legal matters for this organization. I've probably established a dozen of these over the years, South Allegheny, Clairton, Franklin Regional recently. So we're going to go through the same process. it's going to be a separate entity from the school district, but there's nothing saying that individuals from the school district can't be part of the board on there to help decision-making processes. You can have the superintendent, for example, involved, especially for doing some of the educational points. So this is all to come. I've taken the bylaws of various groups that we work with and gave them some of that information over to Mr. Uhas to start forming that, and we're in the process of getting that all completed. So there's, even though it'll be a separate arm of the school district, so they have the ability to go raise funds through the 501c3, there's nothing saying that people involved with the school district and the community can't be on that board to assist on making sure that the money is spent in the best interest of the students.
Because the board of directors on there, we put in, and we've talked this about the board members, school board members, superintendent want to be a part of that, and I've talked to you a little bit on that part, to be a part of those seats. Even people with leadership in our community, like they want to, if somebody's on our township board, because we want to make sure the money coming in, number one, is handled, because you're doing a lot of business corporation money, but also on the end of it, how it's being dispersed, and make sure everybody's getting, an opportunity. It's a way, the thing about it is been working on it, it's not for a while with it, putting it together. It's a way to try to help support our student athletes in our school without having an additional burden on the families and the school. So those are some of the areas I think that in a way it's going to be a positive. We're on this real quick. I know.
10 seconds.
Okay, 10 seconds. On the academic side of it, and I've had conversations, if we ever would put together something out there, start maybe raising funds for us, maybe pay so much money to name the auditorium after them, halls, or Hoover biology room, you know what I mean? And do stuff like that, and you can raise money, and that money can come in and basically be used towards academics, the STEM projects, robotics projects, and additional. Thank you.
The board of directors, there are two items. We ask for a motion in second for those items.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Kovac,
Second.
second by Mr. Marshall. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ahern,
Yes.
Alexandra,
Yes.
Kovac,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Stoneman,
Yes to 1, no to 2.
DeSenza.
Yes.
Mr. President, item number 3A1 was approved on a 7-0 vote. Item number 3A2 on a 6-1 vote, and that so ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Small. Professional personnel.
Just before beginning with professional personnel, I just want to congratulate Mr. Gates, who's sitting in the back there. We just awarded a security contract, and I look forward to working with you again. Under professional personnel, I'm asking for a motion, second, and approval for 4A, 1 and 2, which are deeds of absence, 4B1, which is resignation, and 4C, 1 through 7, which are hiring.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Marshall,
Second.
second by Mr. Alexandro. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ahern,
Yes.
Alexandra,
Yes.
Kovac,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Stoneman,
Yes.
DeSenza.
Yes.
Before moving on to non-certified personnel, just a couple comments regarding what was just approved. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Mike Save on his new position, which unfortunately fell under a high school principal. Mike is, he was previously here throughout his entire career. This is the first time he's going outside of the district. Mike was a great colleague. I've known him and worked with him for several years, and I really wish him the best of luck. I think he's going to do very well. Also, two hirings today. We hired an assistant business manager. I think we've previously made it known that Mr. Smart is going to be transitioning into retirement and grandparenting. So to make that transition hopefully more successful, we hired Mr. Esper. Mr. Esper's in the back. Mr. Esper's a former graduate. Looking forward to working with him. We believe, those are obviously very, very big shoes to fill with Mr. Smart, but if you have any chance of success in doing it, it's going to be with Joe. So congratulations, and I look forward to working with you as well. You have a new middle school assistant principal, and that's Hal Minford. Hal Minford is coming from South Allegheny. He has approximately 20 years of experience in all ed, and I think has experience at all three levels, elementary, middle school, and high school. So again, I think he's going to be a real game changer for us, and I look forward to working with him as well. So congratulations, guys.
Welcome, guys. Thank you.
Under non-certified personnel, I'm going to be asking for a motion second approval for 5A, 1 and 2, which are leaves of absence. 5B, 1 and 2, which are resignations. 5C, 1, which is a retirement, and 5D, 1 through 4, which are hirings and transfers.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Alexandrov, second by Mr. Kovac. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ahern,
Yes.
Alexandrov,
Yes.
Kovac,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Senza.
Yes. Athletic personnel.
Before moving on to athletic personnel, I just want to recognize Zoe Parker. She's an individual who's retired. She was our school nurse assistant over at Fair Park. Just a very kind, nice individual. Never, she could just hear every single day. Great worker, great person, and this district's going to miss her. So I wish her the best in her retirement. Athletic personnel, I'm going to ask for a motion second approval 6A, 1 through 4, which are resignations, and 6B, 1, which are hirings.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mrs. Costello,
Second.
second by Mrs. Ahern. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Ahern,
Yes.
Alexandrov,
Yes.
Kovac,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Costello,
Yes.
Senza.
Yes.
Before I finish my report here, I didn't see another one of our hires, and I didn't see another former employee sitting in the back there. First of all, Sonia Capuzzi is going to be joining our middle school staff as seventh grade reading specialist, and we have her dad sitting right next to her, who's a long-term educator here and administrator, Frank Capuzzi, and I think he's more happy than she is. So congratulations, and I'm really excited. So Sonia was a former student. She's a great kid, and I'm looking forward to her.
Old business. New business. Have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call to order work session where school district deputies from West Mifflin Borough Chamber 1020 Lebanon Road, West Mifflin, PA. Meeting.
School for the 2019.
Back up.
Yes. Here.
Marshall,
Here.
White,
Here.
Costello,
Here.
Senza.
Here,
Thank you.
now you're up.
Going to item 4A, there are no items yet for Costello,
Here.
Senza.
Here,
Thank you.
now you're up.
Going to item 4A, there are no next week. 4B, finance. Right now, there are a lot of them that's out here is grow out our accounts. Pipeline is not yet complete. Last year, we received $1,040,000. You can see 95. That's basically now. Have all titles there to calculate over accounts in IT is we have to present $480,000. Item number, there's but you can see in item number 5 on page 2, there is authorization, and that is the that paramount situation. So we're probably losing some money there. There's always items for viewers, there's always appeals, but I certainly hope that this was one of them here. Any questions on item V finance? On item V finance. Format to C, contracting, there are 11 items for your consideration. Number 1 is our bonds. Issuing the 2009 series, they want an updated contract. So, find ABM's phase 3 of the district construction project. ABM's phase 3 of the district construction project, around $975,000. Is on the district work. Item number 3 is benefits group. They handle our OPEB. They basically we have to schedule post employment. Item number 9, software program. Phase 4 is an item number previous years, and we're asking to reserve 15 seats for psychiatric hospital in item number 6. Any event that we do, that's what they will charge. And then the next 3 are wall subscription, and for our firewall subscription, and with that company connectivity for many years now, in item number 8 is connection, and that is the cost to for an agreement for our Adobe VIP edge devices. Item number 9 is for a cable. Item number 9 is for a cabling project at the high school. This is the amount after E-rate. Our E-rate is basically on materials. We get 80% reimbursement on that. This is done through kind of thinking the number of the E-rate forms 575. But that is to accommodate that basically infrastructure. Item number 10 is typically called LTD. For repair and replacement of a gas line at the stadium. And then item number 11, we're asking for your approval to install vinyl replacement windows at the stadium. Questions on purchasing contract?
What was the cause of the gas line?
I can tell you the original cause was the gas line that was lit by a heavy equipment in doing excavating for fence.
Is there, these windows, is there an issue with the windows?
Any questions, again, on purchasing contract? Minutes, you have the minutes in item B for the last 3 meetings for your consideration. Take a look at that. Then in item E, the reports include 2 months worth of reports, tax collectors, treasurers, secretaries, student activity, no attendance officer reports over the summer. Any questions on the reports? Item F, refunds subtracted, are conference for June and July are on pages 4 and 5. Any comments, questions about those conferences? On then to item G, our invoices, bill list, P cards. You have all those items in the board packs, all the actual invoices, and then of course you have the bill list. And the invoices are grouped by fund that we're paying them out of. Any questions at all about the invoices?
Yeah, I have a question. Tricia, the second bill for the Darrow matter, can you explain that?
Yes, that's the continuing stagnant litigation. We are being subpoenaed with written, production of documents and interrogatories to our office on litigation, as well as we were asked to attend, several deposition purpose, meetings based off of, the 1080 litigation and our knowledge. So that's what that was, because of litigation still built under that. I believe that was honestly, from April until today's date. We've been working with the federal attorneys since, this litigation began, and that was the holdover from April till now. They have been asking for a lot of documents and discovery. I anticipate that should slow down, but probably not for another couple months.
Thank you.
On then to item H, 1 and 2, we have purchase orders, requisitions in number 1. We identify our executive sessions in number 2. Any questions on H? Any questions on my report at all? That's my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. District operations.
Yes, Mr. President, under district operations, I'll be asking for a motion second and third for next week for items A, B, and C. Basically, item A, just hiring a school physician, Dr. College, has been, I'm not sure how long, but been here since more than 15 years, I can tell you that. Item B is hiring our school dentist, Dr. Coyne, and we are approving, in item C, some additional school psychologists that we contract with throughout the year to assist Rachel Flynn.
Do we know how much we used that for last year or not?
Pardon me?
Do we know how much we spent on that last year?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it was less than hiring somebody. So again, you're used periodically when the happy work was.
Okay.
I can get it.
Did you know, sometimes they ask for independent evaluation?
Okay.
Superintendent's report.
Yes, under superintendent's report, I'll be asking for a motion second approval at next week's meeting for item B1, which is student activities, and C1, which are the permits, which will start running back up again.
Board president's correspondence, there is none at this time. Professional personnel.
There is none, and actually we're gonna jump over to substitutes 11, and next week's meeting, I'll be asking for a motion second approval for 11A, non-instructional applications, and 11B, which is non-instructional substitutes.
Conferences.
Yes, at next week's regular meeting, I'll be asking for motion second approval for 12A, or just a few conferences that people have put in for prior to the start of the school year. And that's so ends my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. The executive session discussion, we discussed personnel, board reports.
We have finance meeting next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Mr. President, I have a couple committees to report on. Yesterday, this was kind of a joint buildings and grounds and security type meeting. It was myself, Mr. Stelnick, and Mr. DeCenzo met with Dr. Hoover, Ms. Wells, and Mr. Stevenson up at the stadium to look over the facilities and see the progress, everything. And we also discussed the work being done at the high school with the sidewalks, which falls into the safety security aspect of it. And I had a lot of discussion about the other projects going on at the elementary schools. so that the sidewalks and driveways are all taken care of and ready for the start of the school year. So we're moving along. We got a lot of things going on. It should be wrapping up here right before the start of the school year. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Kovac. Anybody else? All right, solicitor report.
Our report was given in executive session, additional memo, we had talked about looking your board packets for next week.
Old business? New business? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.